Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the last video of the 1989 to 1997 Batman Motion Picture Collection that I have. So here we are. As you may have noticed, I left you with a little bit of a William Dozer type of teaser there for what is to come. That's right. I didn't mention like and subscribe. You should do that anyways if you haven't. Hit that notification bell. Write comments, please. So here we are. The ungodly bastard child of the entire original movie series, Batman and Robin. That's right. And unfortunately, we have to talk about it right here on the Media Files. Welcome back. So yeah, Batman and Robin. So once again, I believe this movie came out I believe it was in June, or it may have been a July release, but it was in 1997. So hot off the trails of Batman Forever, Warner Brothers decided, hey, we need to do a sequel fast because this new formula worked, it made a lot of money, and we think that doing another sequel just the same way ought to make money. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, where to begin with this miserable pile of crap? Oh yeah, as you can tell, my mood has changed quite dramatically. So this time around, the only original returning cast members, besides Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon and Michael Goff as Alfred, Chris O'Donnell is the only one that returns from the previous movie as Robin. Thank God. So this time around, Two-Face has been put down. The Riddler's been put down. They're in jail. So who's the next villain going to be? Well, why not pick somebody that we haven't really seen since the original series? How about Mr. Freeze? All right, that sounds like a pretty good choice. The only person that they think that could do this is none other than the Terminator himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, okay, that's an okay casting choice. I can see him kind of pulling this off a little bit. But then they decide, well, we kind of need another villain because the two villain thing has worked, twice from before. So let's pick a girl villain this time. Not very many girl villains, but okay, let's pick Poison Ivy. Okay. And so with that, they needed a new Batman because Val Kilmer he didn't want to be in the bat suit again, and he was actually busy shooting the movie The Saint, which is based off of the 1960s British TV show starring Roger Moore. So he reluctant to come back. So they needed somebody that was, white hot. And so sure enough, after being on the TV show ER for a couple of years, a known actor by the name of George Clooney decided, well, why don't I take a shot at it? What could possibly go wrong? But luckily, before he did this movie, he did a movie called From Dusk Until Dawn, which I think is probably his best movie he's probably ever done, as far as like a very extreme serious role. If you haven't checked that out, do it. So, yep. So once again, we have two villains, we got two heroes, and sure enough, as usual, it kind of starts off almost the same way as the first movie. Elliot Goldenthal returns to do the score, which is basically the same theme again, which, okay, that kind of makes a little bit of sense. But here it is, we have the Bat logo. It starts up almost as the same, but it freezes. Yeah, it turns to ice, and then it implodes to a big cloud of red, which all the font is in red, comes in all nice and glossy and shiny, and side effects ensue for each one. And, you got Schwarzenegger with the ice beam. You have, Clooney with the, with the Roosh sound, and Chris O'Donnell with with another kind of Roosh sound. Uma Thurman as a flash type of sound, like a glittery type of sound. And then out of nowhere comes Alicia Silverstone with a motorcycle type of sound, and you're like, huh? Yeah. They decided that two heroes wasn't enough, so we needed to add a third one for the girls. No offense to the girls, but we'll get to this here in a minute. So the suit sequence starts up with Batman and Robin doing the usual, suit up scenes, turn around, there's the butt shot. But then comes the chest sequence. Hey, look, we got bat nipples! And everybody's complaining and bitching and moaning about the bat nipples. Let me point something out to you. This movie, this one right here, look at the first outfit that you see Batman in. It's got freaking bat nipples in it. You didn't bitch about it then. Yeah, I'm going to go on a rant here with this one. So yeah, bat nipples. That's the one thing that people hated about this movie the most. Bat nipples on a bat suit. Who cares? So, they figured, well, we can't really do that for the girls, so let's just do it for the guys. Because if we did that for the girls, it'd be rated R. Who cares? So, this time around, with the Batmobile being destroyed, we gotta have ourselves a new Batmobile, which you can probably barely tell what that is. But, in my opinion, it looks like Cruella de Vil's car with huge-ass bat wings and 6 jets attached to it. Or, what I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but I'm like, this is a terrible design for a Batmobile. They only did it because they wanted to make toys. Yeah, this movie, basically, they had to get everything out to all the toy companies so they could make freaking toys for this. Yeah, I get it that you need to have something for your marketing department to send out to make more products for, but come on. That Batmobile design, that sucked. That was awful. It was terrible. I'm like, why? Why does Batman need to have an open cockpit? He has a cockpit for a reason. So, yeah. So here it is. You got Mr. Freeze taking up the Antiquities wing of the Gotham Museum. And sure enough, he's frozen the Antiquities wing. And sure enough, there's a big old huge Brachiosaurus in there. Jurassic Park. Yeah. That's literally the Jurassic Park model. And, yeah. So here it is. You got Schwarzenegger in there with some pretty... for the time, I was a kid, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was pretty good. But now as an adult, I can see its extremely major flaws. So, sure, the suit design is great and everything. But, every single time Schwarzenegger is in there, he's got to have his ice pun lines. He's got to have his one-liners. Otherwise, it wouldn't be an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie without one-liners. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age! Stay cool! That's literally almost every line he says. It's some sort of ice pun. And it's god-awful. And not only that, you had Akiva Goldsman, who wrote A Beautiful Mind. There's an Academy Award-winning screenwriter who wrote this piece of crap. This is literally like the 50s, but in 90s time. Yeah. So with that, Batman and Robin put a stop to him, and then they have a sky surfing sequence. Now, I have to admit, that sequence is pretty cool for its time. It was different, something that we haven't really seen, but still, you got Clooney as Batman. Hi, Freeze. I'm Batman. Yeah, we're not dark and brooding and, not very Keaton-esque like, I'm Batman. No, I'm just George Clooney and I'm just going to bow my head like this. Every time he talks, he kind of does this with the thing with his head. And his voice doesn't change. Yeah, so, with that, then now we cut to Poison Ivy. So here we have Uma Thurman before she did Kill Bill. So she was a pretty good actress. I believe she was in the movie Great Expectations, I believe, before she did this. Um, and so she's it's okay. Her performance is all right. And then you have none other than her co-star, who's actually her lab partner, John Glover. Now he's gone on to do some pretty good stuff. He actually went on to do another DC series called Smallville, where he played the character of Lex Luthor's father, Lionel Luthor, which is awesome. He did an awesome job as that. But then this guy shows up. Then he cuts to where you have all these military guys, and you know, here's this extremely scrawny guy, and who's he supposed to be? You're like, you don't know who this guy is. And then all of a sudden you have this, look, it's super soldier serum. It's Venom. You're like, oh no, are we going to go who I think it is? Yeah. We had to have a third villain in this movie. We had to throw Bane in here. Oh, such a crappy version of Bane. Oh, god awful. It's so terrible. Like, he just goes, Raid! You might as well just have Stallone do it instead. That could be hilarious. Hearing Stallone as Bane. Bane! I mean, that was just... Anyways. Yeah, so we had to have 3 heroes and 3 villains in this movie, and we're just trying to crap out everything we possibly can, into this god-awful, terrible sequel of a movie. So, sure enough, so after, Bane shows up, and then out of nowhere, here comes this chick who shows up, and all she knows is that her uncle works for Bruce Wayne. And I'm thinking, okay, who's your uncle? It's Alfred. Yeah. Barbara in this movie is not James Gordon's daughter. She is Alfred's niece. Okay, that's a bit of a change, but come on. Us people who love the animated series. No. Batgirl is Barbara Gordon, not Barbara Wilson. That's just dumb. Why would you make that change to begin with when it's literally in canon right there? You've had literally 4 years, even 5 years of cartoons that explain that. It's right there. So, yeah. So then basically Barbara goes out. She goes on this little bike, nighttime bike thing, and Dick follows her. He's going to get the hots for her a little bit. She's like, okay, but, Alicia Silverstone, she came off of Clueless. Yeah. I've only seen that movie once. I will never, ever watch it again. It's a chick flick. So, yeah. Anyway, so she does this bike scene sequence that happens, and, on top of that, you got Coolio that makes this little tiny cameo as like the dealer guy, or the guy who takes the cash or whatever. And you're like, why is he even in this movie? I mean, it's just a useless cameo in my opinion. Not to say he's not a good artist or anything, but I'm just in generalization. I just don't understand why he himself is in that movie. Now, he may love the character of Batman for all I know, which is fine. I just don't understand why his character is there. That's just my opinion. Anyways, so they find out, that basically Freeze's plan, he wants to freeze the city because he wants to save his wife, who's basically been frozen, for, since she's had this disease, which is called McGregor's syndrome, which is basically, it's not even a real disease. It's basically this name that they took, and they just named it after the producer, Peter McGregor Scott. They just gave it a name, which is really stupid. But the thing is, though, is that part of this movie, they did use just an eensy-weensy little bit of the Heart of Ice episode from the animated series. Now, had they actually used that storyline than this crap, that would have been a much, much better movie, in my opinion. Much better movie. But they didn't. So, basically, Freeze blames Batman for, making his wife sick and all this and that. So he wants to freeze the city. Poison Ivy wants to basically create, evil gardens throughout the world, and it's pointless. It's stupid. So then Batgirl shows up, and they do the same stupid, setup thing, except they don't do a full butt shot thing like they do with the other two. It's more of like a side thing. It's like, here, look, we got a high zipper thing, and look, ooh, you can see the curvage of the thigh and stuff, and it's like, ooh, Alfred made her own bat outfit. Why? No offense, Alfred, you've had more time to deal with that. Anyways. So she goes on to fight fight Poison Ivy in her lair. And there's this one shot where, Dick is trying to, free himself. Yeah, Dick goes there first because Poison Ivy somehow she changes the bat signal because she tries to seduce. She uses this love, blowy looking thing or whatever that supposedly makes men, go for her or whatever. And I'm like, that's just stupid. And, and then on top of that, she somehow, she gets the keys, and here's Bane, he's literally lifting the stupid, the bat signal like this, there's sparks going everywhere, and you're like, all you're doing is changing the face. All you're doing is changing the symbol. Why do you need to move that? Oh, he's moving it to his hideout. Well, then how could you even plug it in if you literally ripped it out from the wiring? Anyways. So then, after that, Clooney's his usual self. He does this he always does this little thing, and, he finally decides, hey, you know what? Either you trust me, Robin, or you're out. Dick's like, okay. So then they go off to fight Ivy in her her cave or whatever hideout it is that she's in. And it's a terrible fight scene. So here it is. You got, Batman fighting Bane, and, he's just going, Bane breaks Batman's back in the comics. Batman gets his ass handed to him. In this movie, it's just like, he just gets conked in the head with a pipe and is knocked out. It's like, really? Oh, God. The fight scene is terrible. You're expecting this showdown to happen, and, it doesn't. And then, so then he just, then Freeze goes off, finds out that, Ivy unplugs his wife, and she says that it was Batman that did it, so, Freeze gets all pissy, goes off, freezes Gotham, so then, our hero's got to go out and save the day. Guess what? We have all new vehicles for just one tiny little sequence, just for toys. Yeah, we have a new Bat ski boat, which is literally, you can tell, it's literally a big old thing on rubber wheels. And we have another Robin ski boat, which is basically, looks like a boat with a big ass fan on the back of it. It's ridiculously dumb. It's so stupid. And then you got Batgirl, of all people, that's riding down on a motorcycle. I'm like, here it is, you're surrounded in ice, and you're supposed to be going at 40, 50 miles an hour, and you're going to fall over just like that. I mean, it's just, this movie makes me so freaking mad. So, yeah, so after that, they save the city and all that, and then, of course, Schwarzenegger's got to give his one line where he's like, tonight's forecast, the freeze is coming, and then you have this look of Batman just staring at him through the lens, and Clooney's like, yeah, and you just have this big old eyeball shot of Clooney like, But then Bane. He has these ice crystal things that are the bombs. Every time he sets it down, bomb. bomb. I'm like, oh, I'm like, could you come up with any more dialogue for this character? No, you can't. And so then he decides, hey, guess what? I'm gonna take out Robin and Batgirl. Yeah, Batgirl just gets lucky in the fact that she's wearing, really tall boots, and that her, the in between of her boot manages to get the big old tube in the back of his thing and knock him out. I'm like, oh, God, that was such a waste of a villain. Such a waste of a good villain. So, they save the day. Alfred gets all better. Yeah, I forgot to mention Alfred somehow manages to have the exact same disease as Freeze's wife. And that his freezing technology can cure whatever the thing is that Alfred has. Then they decide they need a bigger cave. Yep. They use the exact same shot that they did in the last movie. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. The last movie ends with Batman and Robin in silhouette with a big old huge searchlight in front of you running towards you. They do the exact same shot with all three characters, and that's how it ends. Yeah, if you don't like spoilers, I just spoiled the entire movie for you. I saved you. Literally. I saved you in 2 hours and 5 minutes of pure hell. And granted, I didn't mention everything, because what can I say? A lot of it is so freaking embarrassing. It's like, why did they even make this movie to begin with? So, once again, a 2-disc special edition. Yeah, here's a shot of that crappy Batmobile I kept mentioning. Yeah, it looks like Cruella de Vil went all, psychotic and stuff. And then you have Batgirl with the villains. So, yep, so, okay. So, first disc. Commentary by director Joel Schumacher. Shadows of the Bat, the Cinematic Saga of the Dark Knight, Part 6, Batman Unbound. I'd like to point out in this documentary, Joel Schumacher apologizes for making this movie. He apologized for it, and not only that, Clooney has apologized for being in this movie multiple times. So there's also an additional scene, Alfred's Lost Love, which is basically this photo that's on his desk. It's his girlfriend from back in the day. Beyond Batman Documentary Gallery, Bigger, Bolder, Brighter, the production design of Batman and Robin, Maximum Overdrive, the vehicles of Batman and Robin, Dressed to Thrill, the costumes of Batman and Robin, Frozen Freaks and Femmes Fatales, the makeup of Batman and Robin, Freeze Frame, the visual effects of Batman and Robin. You get 4 music videos. You have The End is the Beginning is the End by the Smashing Pumpkins, Foolish Games by Jewel, Gotham City by R. Kelly, and Look Into My Eyes by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Then there's also the heroes and the villains profile galleries. So, yeah. So, this movie also had a soundtrack released to it. I forgot to mention that also in Batman Forever, it's hard to find, but the original score was released to this movie as, I think it had 19 tracks on it, but it's rare, it's hard to find. This movie did not. Thank God. Now, I will say the soundtrack for this movie, a lot of it's kind of hip-hop and stuff, but the Smashing Pumpkins song, The End is the Beginning is the End, that is an awesome song. That is one of the reasons why I bought the soundtrack. And then, there is another song by them called The Beginning is the End is the Beginning. That is basically the B-side. The B version of that exact same song, but it is in a slower tempo. And on top of that, what can I say? It's an awesome, awesome song. Which, by the way, give me just a second here. Let me get it. Which, by the way, that specific song was used for the trailer of Watchmen. Yeah, so the only good thing to come out of this Batman and Robin movie is one song by the Smashing Pumpkins, which led to literally Watchmen. The first trailer used it, and next thing you know, they had no idea that this one song of theirs, which they just kind of just put on there, would blow up by like 600% after that movie trailer was released. Yeah, people were literally buying that song from the Batman and Robin soundtrack just so they can listen to that song, just for a trailer music. Which, in my opinion, that trailer music for that specific song, the way it's edited together and stuff, is awesome. If you can figure out, if you can listen to it and you actually put it together, the way you listen to it in the first Watchmen teaser trailer, it is awesome. So, yeah. So basically, this movie, and I quote from Janet Maslin of the New York Times, big, bold, lavish, outstanding visual mischief. You should have called it big, bold, and crap. Outstanding, utter garbage. That's what you should have called this movie. So yeah, with that movie, when it came out, it bombed big time. And Warner Brothers was like, oh, yeah, we had plans for a fifth movie if this was going to be successful. Yeah, there was going to be a fifth movie with Joel Schumacher returning as the director. Now, we don't know who Batman was going to be, but all we knew was that Batman was going to be in it, Robin was going to be in it, Batgirl may or may not have been in it, and it was going to be called Batman Triumphant, with none other than the Scarecrow as the villain. So, yeah. Thank God time has passed with this damn turkey. It's god-awful. It sucks beyond belief. So here it is. We have 3 good Batman movies, and 1 complete, utter garbage pile of crap. So, what can I say? Do I still watch it to this day? If I'm literally only in the mood to watch certain sequences, I'll watch it. But, what can I say? I mean, the funny thing is, I managed to actually come across this whole entire set several years ago at Disc Replay. They had it marked at 333. Yeah. I'm not going to complain, though. I mean, come on. But still, though, it's still Batman. I still like it for what it is. But, what can I say? Here it is. You got this, amazing set of movies, which did, pretty well during its time. And as I had mentioned before, that, here it is. You're going to have a 5th movie. And having the Scarecrow as the villain. Well, sure enough, pieces of that remained. The director did not, but the only thing that kind of remained around for the 5th Batman movie was the Scarecrow villain. Next time. That's right. Same bat time, same bat channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and not only that, keep it here for more Batmania here on the Media Files. What can I say? The best is yet to come.